like most running quarterbacks, Eagles rookie Jalen Hurts will be forced to prove he's capable of delivering winning performances throwing from the pocket. And that's the Cardinals' goal today. They want to take advantage of being the first opponent to use game tape of Hurts executing in Doug Peterson's offense to devise their game plan. I spoke at length with both head coaches this week. Peterson believes the Cardinals will prioritize eliminating Hurts' escape options, box him in, probably even assign a spy to the young quarterback after Hurts ran for 106 yards, the most of any quarterback starting for the first time since 1950. Peterson's expectation, by the way, seems right on the mark. Kingsbury told me they want to make Hurts uncomfortable, and he said challenge Hurts to beat them throwing the football consistently and accurately while reading the defense. Kingsbury described himself as anxious to see how his defense handles that assignment. Understandably so, the Cardinals allow 5.5 yards per rushing attempt to opposing quarterbacks. That ranks 29th in the NFL. And one more point of emphasis today for the Eagles, getting the play into the quarterback and getting it communicated more quickly in the huddle to allow Hurts more pre-snap opportunity at the line of scrimmage to evaluate what the Cardinals might be doing. Peterson told me he's stressing keeping it simple with Hurts, the coach saying, keep it simple, let him play, take care of the football, just be Jalen and go play.
Yeah, it seems pretty standard for a guy that hasn't been in there much, obviously getting his first look at the Cardinals today. I'm wondering, Rex, from your perspective as a coach, how much of the success that he had last week against the Saints do you think was, I don't want to call it beginner's luck. Obviously, he played well, but that Saints defense didn't know what was coming.
Well, I understand that, but, I mean, we all know this guy's a heck of a football player. In college, we talk about, hey, it's a matchup of two Sooners. But when he was at Alabama, he's a two-time Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC, a pretty decent conference. So that's why you shouldn't be surprised by how he ran, those type of things. But what I was shocked by was, because I would blitz the heck out of this kid, and it's a mistake to blitz him. And he showed it last week. His poise, especially in the face, here comes, he never flinches. He got an all-out blitz coming to him. Unblocked guy. He doesn't throw it to the flat. No. I throw it down the field and hit touchdown. The deeper guy for a touchdown. This is what I never knew he had, this kind of skill set. And this is what he showed me during this game. It was unreal. Compare this to Carson Wentz. Why is he in there? Here's what he's facing against this, a cover one blitz later when he's got two guys wide open, doesn't see the field, and he holds the ball and gets sacked. That's why they went to Jalen Hurts. But this guy was so impressive to me last week. Can he carry it over here? I don't think the game plan is much. We know what you're getting. You're getting an athletic guy, a guy that's a really good runner. And I understand, make him throw from the pocket, but you might want to make him throw from the pocket without blitzing so much. That's what we saw last week.
Yeah, Doug Peterson, I think he has to understand how much more credibility he has now with his players, even more than he already had, because you're stressing on everyone to do their job. And, if you're not playing, you're going to take them out. Some players might be thinking, finally you did it. What took you so long with Carson Wentz? Now, I hope he has a sort of a long leash on Jalen, because you heard Ed talking about keeping it simple, and that's how this guy is thriving, I think. But because you do those quarterback runs, you keep it simple for him, the other areas of your teams to succeed. But that's the way I definitely think they have a chance, is going forward with Jalen as the quarterback.
But I think Sam brings up a really good point, is that the easiest it was going to be all year was last week for Jalen. Like, now they've seen it. I think when I see that film you showed, Rex, I think, well, they let him off easy. They gave him a hot route that's a fade throw. I mean, quarterbacks been throwing fade routes to wide receivers since they were 7 years old. Like, they let him off easy. They go into the game. Jalen Hurts did a great job. No sacks, no interceptions in a game. That's the first time that you could say that about a Philadelphia Eagles offense all year long. That's the way he played. So now you see the film, you say, okay, listen, this quarterback's playing it different. He's different with the football. Not only that, this play caller is different. You saw Doug Peterson give Miles Sanders a lot more opportunities in the running game than he'd given all year long. So now I think that you've got a book. You've got something to study. So I'm not saying that they can't get the win. I'm just saying it's going to be much, much tougher this week than it was even last week, even though they played a better team last week.
Now, Matt, were you not impressed, though? You say that they had an easy hot throw on a fade ball, which, By the way, turned into a back shoulder.
I'm very impressed, but I think as a quarterback, my favorite thing in the world, if you're going to blitz me, is to give me a press man fade route, because all the other guys are irrelevant. It now turned into me and one of my buddies against one of your guys.
But they had a flat also. Like, to me,
right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to take the flat if you give me a fade.
But I'm just saying, in the face of it, it's like most young quarterbacks take that flat. They most of them do. I'm going to get rid of it
because
for the shortest throw possible.
Because some guys are
he
robots.
Throws a back shoulder.
Because some guys are robots and they haven't played a lot of football. Here's a guy that's played a lot of football and he's been well coached in that football. Right. He's been coached well at Alabama. He's been coached well at Oklahoma.
Why does it take a change in a quarterback position to almost reset you as a play caller, though?
I mean, you don't like your quarterback.
Yes.
That's why, to me, Bruce, that's what seemed like it. And we all saw it. As soon as they put Jalen Hurts in the game, what happened to that team? Remember in the thing, we're like, oh, now they return a punt for a touchdown. They do different things.
Run the ball more.
They got excited, and I was like, man, do they just not like the quarterback? I don't know.
You know, when I look at this game, putting the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, it's going to be a test for Jalen Hurts going to get against this air raid offense, you know, led by Kyler Murray. You know, when I look at the injury report, I think a cornerback like Darius Slay, they paid him a lot of money, but I think having him out today going against a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, going against a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, I think the secondary is a little hobbled for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that shows me that they're putting their show on the road. Jalen Hurts have showed of lately that he can throw the football, that he can put it in that box. Today, going on the road, they're going to have to score more than 14 points if they expect to be in the game against these Cards.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he was showing a level of poise. The Bears' playoff hopes would be down to just 2% with a loss, and the Vikings would be at just 4%. Our Kimberly Martin is live in Minneapolis with the very latest. What do you know, Kimberly?
Hey, Sam. Good morning, guys. Yeah, do not let the records fool you. This will be like a playoff game for both teams who also have little margin for error. I spoke to Vikings running back Dalvin Cook this week about the sense of urgency within the building and in practice, and he said, listen, I know what's at stake. So expect to see a Dalvin Cook that's playing out of his mind. I live for moments like this, right? Okay, well, Chicago is riding the momentum of their win over the Texans, and Mitchell Trubisky had his best game of the season. Mitch, the Bears, everybody feels like they're in a groove. And when I spoke to Bears return man Cordero Patterson, he told me Trubisky, he's walking around with some swagger. He's walking around like, I'm the guy, I'm your quarterback, and you can trust me. And that's great, right? But here's the thing. The Bears need Mitchell Trubisky to keep playing like he's the guy for the rest of the season for them to get in the playoffs. Sam?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that situation. So, if the Vikings win, they play the Saints on Christmas Day. Let's take a look at our standing. Rex?
Just keep it up here the rest of the show.
Wait. I'm tied with Teddy for last. How is that?
I'm in the bottom. Dropping, Sam. What you doing, woman?
I fell apart. I've gotten lazy. I'm the only one willing to take some risks, apparently, is what we're learning. Let's pick some games, starting with the Bears and the Vikings.
Well, let me take a big risk here, Sam.
You're not going to. You're not going to.
Man, I really do. I'm looking at this game at home for the Minnesota Vikings. You have one team in the Bears that's trying to search for some identity. Week 15 with the running game, where the Minnesota Vikings has already found their identity. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. I need to see the gritty dance in the end zone. JJ, I need to see. I'm going with the Vikings at home.
Yeah, you know, I want to take the Bears, but after they totally botched the handling of Mitchell Trubisky, I don't like him. So I'm going to go with Dalvin Cook and the Minnesota Vikings.
I'll go with the Vikings and a bounce back from maybe a kicker. All right, Dan Bailey, make some kicks and it'll be a lot easier, okay? I'll take the Vikings.
Yeah, this is a tough game to call. I'm going to take the Vikings also because I think if they would have just been better in the kicking game last week, they win that game. Dalvin Cook and company, where they're running all over Tampa. That was an impressive performance, I thought, last week by Minnesota against Tampa. They had some kind of, I would say questionable penalty calls in that game. I'm kind of surprised, but I think Minnesota's a better team than we think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. No doubt about that. Vikings did win in Chicago in Week 10, but I'm actually picking the Bears in this one. I'm with Cordero Patterson. If Mitchell Trubisky is playing with some swag, we know they seem to be fitting their offense more to what he does well in these last couple weeks. And look, their offense had a season high last week. So I'm going with the Bears in this one. Let's get to the 49ers and the Cowboys. This one in Arlington. What do you think, Randy?
Well, it's going to be a big a big game for defensive coordinator Mike Nolan for the Cowboys. If you've been seeing the San Francisco 49ers of lately at the quarterback position, I need the pass rush with Lawrence and my man Aldon Smith. The pass rush by the Dallas Cowboys have to show up today. One thing that I know facing the 49ers, they don't have Deebo Samuel. They don't have George Kittle. When you send pressure at the San Francisco 49ers, I've seen that quarterback cringe. Mike Nolan and the Cowboys got to get after this team today. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Randy, they don't have a lot of things, including their quarterback, as you mentioned. But when I look at this, two things you can rely on with Dallas. Their poor communication on defense, and they can't stop the run. And so I'm expecting that the 39ers are going to use all the players they have left, use motion shifts and all that, add some confusion to Dallas, and then run the ball down their throat. Give me the 39ers.
And all we've seen all year is the Dallas Cowboy defense inconsistent on their keys. That's what the Niners are great at. They're going to run the ball, have a success. I'm going with the Niners.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the road in game picks, but I'd be ahead of you in first place if I wasn't picking the Dallas Cowboys all year. I've given up on the Cowboys. I think Brandon Ayuk's probably the guy. Bad tackling in the secondary for Dallas, and I think that's a weapon that they'll have a problem with today. I'll take the 49ers.
I told y'all maybe in week 2 or 3 when Dak was still playing, I'm done picking the Cowboys this year. I just have trust issues with them. I'm going with the 49ers. I know Zeke Elliott is questionable, but they've had trouble running the ball, stopping the run, doing pretty much everything. So I'm with the 49ers by default in this one. So, Rex, it is time for your DraftKings plays
I'm
of the
struggling
day.
a little bit, but I got something for you today. You know, I've got Russell Gage of the Falcons. I got Emmanuel Sanders of New Orleans, you know, with the big stud receiver out